Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia Wiles. If you haven't been here before, I have an autoimmune disorder called alopecia, which causes my hair to fall out. So today I'm actually going to do a Q&A. If you follow along with me on Instagram, you would know that I plan to do this Q&A with another woman who also has alopecia, but it just wasn't really going to work out. So you're stuck with me. But nevertheless, I got lots of questions, so I'm going to answer a few of them for you guys today. The first question I'm going to start on is where I am from. So I am from Ohio. I'm from kind of northeastern Ohio, near like Cleveland. So I live in a small town. I'm in like Cornfield, Ohio, and I go to university in southern Ohio. No matter where I am, I'm in Ohio. So the next question I got was for kind of like childhood memories with alopecia. I wanted to clear up that I do not have really any childhood memories. I developed alopecia when I was 15 and a half, so I was out of childhood, but still pretty young. So the youngest memory I have with alopecia would be when I shaved my head, and that was probably like the most profound memory I had, which was about a month after I started losing my hair. And that was just an incredibly powerful day, and yeah, definitely very monumental in my life. The next question: do I wear a turban or a wig or a sleep cap when I go to bed? No, I do not. I've never really worn anything on my head. When I sleep, I don't wear anything because it feels awfully annoying. I've tried to sleep with like a hat on. When I first lost my hair, wearing a hat when I went to bed was extremely comforting for me because I did not like wearing wigs. I just never felt like myself in them. However, when I wore a hat on my head, it felt very comforting when I went to bed. So if that's something that you struggle with, not feeling comfortable, I would suggest wearing some type of hat or a head wrap or something like that. I don't have any problems skin-wise sleeping or anything like that, so it's just like if you need it, but now I don't wear anything on my head when I sleep, no. Next, do you have any experience with hair regrowth and falling out again? The answer to this is pretty much no. I have never had any real hair growth. I've had little peach fuzz, which like I actually have right now. I have a tiny bit of peach fuzz. So I've never had any real significant colored hair growth, anything like that. I've had a few eyelashes here and there from time to time, but that's about it. I did have like, okay, a tiny bit of hair growth when I first got some cortisone injections, which is usually the first step when you start having alopecia. They'll ask you if you want these kind of like steroid shots in your head, and they're kind of terrifying. It's like a really tiny needle, but they just kind of put them into your head all over, or depending on how much hair loss you have. I just had little bald spots at the time that I got them, and they put the shots in there, but by the time that hair had started growing, and it did, I had already lost the rest of my hair, so it didn't really matter. So no, I have not had any real significant hair growth. I have tried several different like studies and stuff like that, but yeah, nothing's ever worked. I've actually had some pretty bad reactions to medicines. And so next question. I thought this one was pretty interesting. If you can switch alopecia for happiness, would you do it? And I liked that question because it kind of leads to an interesting idea that maybe you can be happy with alopecia, which I have definitely found. I don't think that happiness and alopecia are two separate things, that you could only have one of them. I don't believe that at all. In fact, I'm so against that because I think I'm a happier person now having alopecia than I was before. I don't know. I mean, I think I was just more vain. I cared more about my looks. I depended on my looks, let's say, more than I do now. Alopecia has helped me to love myself, not just the body I'm in, yeah, but the person that I am, the person who I am inside, and which is not affected at all by my hair. Yeah, I definitely think you can have happiness without having hair. That leads into the next question, which says, has alopecia changed your life for the better or the worse? And it has definitely, if you have not caught in yet, changed my life for the better. I 125% love having alopecia. It's not even just something that I've gotten used to, but it's something that I've grown to really love about myself. I like that I'm able to kind of connect with people on a different level than I was able to before, because I've gone through something so real and something that really makes you question who you are. And I just know who I am so much better after having developed alopecia. I feel like a much stronger human being, if that makes sense. It has definitely changed my life for the better. Not at first, you know. It wasn't like perfect at first or anything, and it's not perfect now, but I'm very happy that I have alopecia, and I'm very glad that this happened to me. The next question is, how did you pluck up the courage to go out in public without a wig on? So I really like this question because you guys have only really seen me at a place where I'm comfortable. And I haven't always been this way, especially at the beginning. I was not so comfortable. I pretty much always forced myself to go out without covering my head, but it wasn't always comfortable for me. So what I would advise is to do it a little bit at a time. I don't think that getting the courage to go out without a wig on or without a hat on, I don't think it has to happen all at once. I don't think that one day you wake up and say, I'm not going to wear a wig anymore, I'm going to love it. I don't think it's like that. I think that you need to gradually introduce yourself into it and convince yourself that you can do it. Taking little baby steps. That's definitely what I did. One example is shortly after shaving my head, a few weeks in maybe, I'm not quite sure. I remember I went to the mall with my family and we were going to buy some more beanies because I needed some more. And it was the winter time when I shaved my head, so I was in the market for some hats. And I remember all of a sudden getting kind of like emotional and just wanting to be myself. I was just walking around on my own. I just remember thinking to myself, I'm really tired of wearing this hat. I kind of just want to take it off for a minute. And so I looked around. I was like, okay, I'm just going to take it off really quick. And I took it off. I kind of did like a lap around the store. Then after I did that lap, I put my hat back on. It just felt like a victory. Like my heart was racing. It was an adrenaline rush. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. I just showed everyone in Forever 21 that I was bald, you know? It was crazy, but it was great, you know? I think it's little things like that that will really help you. I don't think that you need to just do all or nothing. You could totally just say you're running errands one day, right? And you have your wig on. You have to go into a couple of different stores. For the first store, maybe you wear your wig, and then the second store you don't, and the third store you do, and the fourth store you don't. You know, something like that. And just really slowly pushing yourself into it, just a little bit at a time. It doesn't have to be for like a whole hour. It could be for 2 minutes, you know, like me when I was walking around in Forever 21. I think that just slowly showing yourself that you can do it and just weaning yourself into it is how I definitely got myself comfortable. Another thing that really helped me with getting the courage was having a handhold. So it was easier for me to go someplace like school. So after, there was a lot of pressure when I went back to school. Everybody knows that I have long brown hair, but now I don't. And so it's going to be very obvious when people see me wearing a hat. And should it matter? No. But I did want to stop wearing the hat to school. The way that I was able to do that was through having so many people by my side and people who knew what I was going through, to just kind of be like the steady, reliable people who already knew, if that makes sense. Because it's kind of like when you're going into a new place, it's scary because nobody knows, and there's always that voice in the back of your head saying everyone's going to react and it's going to be crazy, and you know, there's that nasty voice telling you that. But when you go into these situations with lots of people and there's somebody in the room that already knows, it's suddenly, for some reason, a lot easier, or it just gives you a little sense of peace. I always wanted someone who knew to be with me, or someone who knew the whole story, because I would share about it on social media, which definitely helped because it wasn't such a shock when people found out. But I had my best friends by me, and it doesn't have to be a best friend either. If you go to like work or something and maybe you just have a couple of coworkers who you're familiar with and you know you're kind of friends with, just reaching out to one person maybe before you go to work that day or the night before and saying like, hey, I've been going through this thing and I just really wanted to confide in you, and just so you could know, so you wouldn't be surprised, or something like that. Just get someone that you can tell, someone who can just already know, and it makes it so much easier, at least in my experience. That is what I would definitely recommend. Baby steps and hand to hold. Those are the two things that I would definitely recommend for getting the courage to go out in public without your hat or your wig or your wrap or anything like that. That is all the questions I'm going to do because I have a feeling that this is getting kind of long. But I also just wanted to talk a little bit about why I haven't been posting very much on YouTube. I just wanted to let you guys know, and anyone who's maybe new to the channel, that I have a bit of an insecurity with YouTube that I don't feel on Instagram at all. You're seeing me for 20 minutes straight or something talking to you, and it's so exciting, and I love sharing with you guys and talking about things that I'm passionate about. But I've found that with YouTube I just tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist, and I'm very critical of myself, and so that's something I've been struggling a lot with lately, comparing myself to others on YouTube, thinking that I'm not good enough. And so I just wanted to be open with you guys. I promise that I love making YouTube videos, and it's just something that I've got to work up in myself to make myself more confident with this, because I love building this community with you guys, and I definitely want to continue it. If you've ever struggled with something like this, I'm reading a book and I just found it, and it's really cool. It's a great quote. It's by Elizabeth Gilbert, and the book is called Big Magic. And it's all about, you know, the reasons that we're scared to try new things, and the reasons that we're scared to do things that are creative, breaking the barriers in your mind. So this one is about originality. One of my big insecurities is that, like, oh my gosh, there are already so many people making videos. Mine do not even compare, and they're never going to compare, and that kind of thing. So I love what Elizabeth Gilbert said. Aspiring writers will often tell me, I have an idea, but I'm afraid it's already been done. And then Elizabeth says, well, yes, it probably has already been done. Most things have already been done, but they have not been done by you. So this is the whole difference between originality and authenticity, which I really love how she did this. She said, but once you put your own expression and passion behind an idea, a non-original, commonly done idea, that idea becomes yours. I love that. It's so exciting. So she says, just say what you want to say, and say it with all of your heart. Share whatever you are driven to share, and if it's authentic enough, believe me, it will feel original. On that note, I wanted to just encourage you guys to whatever it is that you're thinking of doing, whatever you're thinking of trying, just do it, because it hasn't been done by you, and you have your own flair that you'll give it, and authenticity is better than originality, says Elizabeth Gilbert, and I tend to totally agree with her. I just have to convince myself as well. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you for sticking along. Follow me on my social media. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It makes me so happy when I see someone else subscribe. All right, see you guys later. Bye.